Well, look who came listening back.
What? You want more?
All right, well, here you go. Okay, so this month's movie pick was Steph's choice, so I'm going to let her start it off and explain a little bit about the movie.
All right, so we did Detroit Rock City, which is one of my all-time favourite movies, and you'd never seen it.
Yeah.
So
you kept saying to me, it's like, I know you're going to love it, I know you're going to love it.
And did you love it?
Oh my God, I fudging loved it. You know me too well. Like,
it's
that
great.
was just it.
So it's set in 1978 when 4 rebellious teenagers try to scam their way into a Kiss concert. And basically how they get to the concert.
The whole movie is, about the journey of getting there. It's a really cool concept because it's set like, you've got disco against rock.
Yeah.
And it's just...
And there's so many just famous people that pop up and and you actually do get to see Kiss in concert at the end, which is amazing.
It's like one of the last times I think they were together as a group
I wish that I got to see, I wish that I was around then and I got to actually see it. But it's hilarious to see, when music was everything to them and disco, people didn't like rock and rock people didn't like disco. And it's just absolutely hilarious. And it has Edward Furlong, who I had a massive crush on, but don't Google him now. If you don't already,
you showed me the picture.
A massive heroin addict and everything. So it's just really great movie and so many laughs along the way. As soon as you start it,
the intro was so gold. When she told me this is the movie, and I kind of knew I'd like it. I just never got to watching it. It's everything. I liked the music.
The soundtrack is amazing. Yeah. It's got all the classics. It's got Ramones. It's got Kiss.
Yeah, you got a bit of everything. It's not just rock throughout that whole thing. You hear Radar Love throughout it. Kiss is all the way through.
Yeah.
But you've got your disco songs.
David
Bowie. It's such an amazing soundtrack. Mm-hmm. It's just I'd watch it again just for the soundtrack. But even the intro, when I started watching it, I'm like, oh, this intro is great. I love it already. And then Spanish starts, and I'm like, oh no, how am I gonna watch this? So got a movie day at Steph's to watch it. But yeah, no, it was it's a really good funny movie. And I think if you like that music, if you like the concert scene, if you like any of that, you'll really relate to it as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm just really glad that you liked it and that I made a good choice.
Oh, you knew I would. You know me too well. So it was really good.
And it's funny that all of this happens in the space of 12 minutes. 12 hours, I mean.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot that goes on.
Oh, yeah, 12 hours. I was going to say, yeah, but they were at school and no, we're kind of 24 hours because it was the night before it starts off with.
That's right. So, about 24 hours, yeah. But it's just absolutely hilarious and, just a lot of hidden gem people in there as well. And, I know this person and I know this person.
Yeah.
Natasha Lyonne from Orange is the New Black is in it. And you've also got...
But you'll know her, from American Pie. She was Tara Reid's best friend from that one. If you don't... if you like me and not very good with names, that's who she is.
That's it. That's her name. And it's also got, what's the porn star's name?
What's his name? Something, I don't know. You'll know him when you see him. He does so many cameos in movies,
He does.
But worth it. Totally worth it. It's funny, great soundtrack, lighthearted. Definitely worth 10 out of 10. You chose a good one this month, I've got to say. Loved it. I can't believe it took me this long to watch it. That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm. Ron Jeremy.
We do have our laptops with us. The name was bugging us. It's something we have to check. That's who was in it. That was Detroit Rock City. So how about we move on to Steph's TV pick? What have you got for us?
All right. So as we all know, I like an easy binge.
Yep.
So I was flicking through Netflix wondering what am I going to watch? And I kept getting the pop-ups for a show called Everything Sucks. And I was like, oh, all right, I'll give it a go. It looks like a bit of a teeny drama, maybe not my thing. OMG, it was my thing. Sadly, there is only one season. I need to put it out there right now. 20 minutes at each episode, and I think there's about 10 episodes. So did it in a day. So this show is set in the 90s, and it's about a bunch of AV students who befriend the principal's daughter, who everybody's like, stay away from her because she is the principal's daughter. Also the drama club. So what happens is the AV club and the drama club have a huge falling out, and they end up becoming friends, and they decide, because there's something happened with the stage through the drama club had a huge drama show coming on, and so that got cancelled. So the AV club decided that they were going to make a movie for their school, and so it's all just about how friendships become, and it's just really cute. And I love the fact that it's set in the 90s. Brought back so many memories for myself with the whole dial-up internet thing, and it just brought me back to when my mum, would be on the phone and you'd try to get the internet and you couldn't get the internet. But yeah, this show's really cute, and I like the fact that it is teenagers playing teenagers.
Yes.
Unlike, the OC where they were 26 playing 16-year-olds. Yeah. So yeah, it's really cute, and I recommend this show.
You made me watch one episode.
Yes, I did. I made you watch one episode.
Yeah, it was really cute. It was definitely short. I didn't expect it to be that short, but you made me watch the trailer, and I really liked, I fell for the story of the principal. Like, his story looked really cute, and I don't know, it was something that I would like to continue to see his story.
The principal is his wife passed away, so he's a single dad, and having, his daughter's just like, pretend I'm a normal student. Don't talk to me, Dad. Don't talk to me. And, you kind of feel sorry for him because he's trying to be cool and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it, and it does suck that there is only one season, because it does kind of leave you on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
But it's really cute. I highly recommend it. Me and Andrew talking about, other shows that were one season.
Yeah.
And that
I find all the alternative ones, or the really cool hidden gems that you manage to find, they're always the ones that never get continued by the studio. And it sucks, because I went through a stage where I found all the really cool, shows for rockers and metalheads and horror shows and things like that, and they were all cool, but yeah, they'd never get continued.
Wasn't
past
there
one or two.
That we were talking about the other day, and it was something in the book of...
Oh, Todd and the Pure Book of Evil.
Todd and the Pure Book of Evil. That never got
so
finished,
good.
did it?
No, and it ended, again, with a cliffhanger. Season 2 got 2. Same with Metalocalypse was another one that I really got into. It was on Adult Swim. It was another adult cartoon one. Definitely metal, so if you're not into that, don't listen, don't watch it. But same, he announced he only had one season to go, and the studio just wouldn't finish it.
And that's another one that I really enjoyed was Selfie. It had Karen Gillan and John Cho.
Yeah.
Super cute show as well. I may have to do a bit on that one. But it just sucks that, again, that was one season that got canned.
I think we should do a spot on all shows that were great but were never finished.
Sigh for Firefly.
I know, but I think if anyone out there listening has some series that they really liked, and you got left on a cliffhanger, and the studios never wanted to finish it, please send us an email at nerdazons@outlook.com so we can look into it, and we might do a little segment on that as well.
Okay, so we'll move on to you now, Ange.
Cool. All right. My show, it's another Netflix series. So I chose Final Space. Which
is on my list.
Yes, you guys have all probably seen it popping up on the new and the trending now. It's about an astronaut named Gary and his alien friend Mooncake. And yeah, I love that name. And it focuses on their intergalactic adventures as they try to solve the mystery of the titular final space. Super, and I've never said this, that I go for all the long series. This was an easy binge. I started 6 p.m., finished at 9 p.m.
That's awesome.
That. Yeah, so I can finally say that now. It's an easy binge. It kind of reminded me a bit of Red Dwarf.
I love Red Dwarf.
Do you remember the beginning, how, did you ever watch the first series, how it started?
I don't remember it, but I remember
it's actually on Stan. I started rewatching it again, but it reminds me of that. Kind of reminds you a bit of the reboot of the Star Trek movies, the one with Chris Pine in it. So you got a bit of elements of that.
I'm a bit of a pine nut.
Well, if you liked that movie, elements are a bit the same as well, and it kind of reminds you a little bit of Guardians of the Galaxy. So,
awesome!
Just to give you a feel of what the series is like, the voices to me are the funniest part. I was talking with a friend of mine, the Nat that I keep mentioning. No, she wasn't a huge fan purely because of the voices, but if you're one who likes the idiotic way people say things, and which I do, and you sit there and mimic the way they say it, like, it's one of those. Gary just pronounces everything so stupidly and idiotically, and that is what I love about him.
Okay.
That to me was the funniest part of the series. It's a fun binge for a night, you know, when you have a really busy, crappy day at work, just to come home and binge that. That's one that you can just kind of switch off and binge to. It's funny. It's got sci-fi elements. Like, how can you not like it?
Yes.
And then another thing, if you like a lot of the adult cartoons like Rick and Morty, South Park, Family Guy, American Dad, all of those, add this one to your list.
Okay, awesome.
Even like, what was the other one that Netflix had, which I totally recommend everyone to watch. What was it? The one with the like hormone monsters. Big Mouth. That's
Big
it.
Mouth.
Yeah,
Big Mouth is so good.
I highly recommend you watch that one too if you're into any of those cartoons that I spoke about. Yeah, it's good. Like, now that we're thinking back of that series, I'm like, don't laugh. We're talking about Final Space, but it's definitely so worth the watch, especially for a night if you just want to chill, veg, unwind from
and you don't
work.
have to think, do you?
No, I mean, like,
Good. So it's my kind of show.
I mean, I thought of it through it, but it's not a serious hard thinker, so you wouldn't have to really do anything. But it's so funny. That's all I really wanted to talk about. It's a really, really short one to talk about because I don't want to give anything away. I do really like it. I'm a big fan of, obviously, cartoons.
Yeah.
And the next one on my list is it Disenchantment?
Yes.
That's the next one for me to watch. So if you guys watch this series, please, like, let me know. Like, I like to know if you guys like the series choices that I pick or movie choices that I pick. So send us an email. Let us know. If you don't, let us know some of the series that you do like so we can go and have a look and give them a try as well, because we're always up for new recommendations.
Exactly.
But that was a nice quick one for me. I always talk a bit, so nice and short. So we'll move over to Steph's fun facts.
Well, this month it is actually coming into International Talk Like a Pirate Day. Yeah. Which is the 26th of, which is Wednesday the 19th this year.
Like, by the time our podcast comes out, it's been and gone.
It's been and gone, so I just thought I'd give you a few fun facts about pirates. So first of all, the skull and crossbone flag at the top of the pirate ship is called a Jolly Roger. Grog was the pirate's drink of choice, which was actually a mixture of rum, water, lemon juice, and sugar.
I didn't actually know that was a drink. Like, I was just reading
a delicious cocktail.
Well, to me, I'm just like, I just thought it was a slang word like that people used. I really didn't think that it was a mixture.
Yeah, so neither did I, but I just thought that was really cool to know what was going on there. And also, the English word pirate is derived from the Latin term pirate, which means sailor or sea
They're written
robbers.
the same. How could, like, they look like they're written the same? Pirate and pirate.
Oh, I think it's actually, like, autocorrected it.
Okay.
So the English word pirate is derived from the Latin term pirate, which means sailor or sea robbers, and also the Greek word pirates, which also means one who attacks ships.
Quite literal, their names.
Quite literal, exactly. So the main thing that robbers would actually steal is medical supplies, and the most expensive medical supply that was ever stolen was worth over $470,000 in today money.
What was the medical supply? I'm curious. Like,
just supplies.
Just supplies. It wasn't just anything in particular. It was just all of it. Oh my god.
Yeah. So,
wow. I didn't know that. So it's not your, like, bounty of gold
No,
They
and
want your medical supplies.
yeah, and generally they wouldn't bury their treasure because they wouldn't actually have treasure. Yes, they'd have gold and silver and money, but they would spend it on grog and women and whatever else pirates would want to spend their money on.
You'd think that if you stole someone's money, you would spend it, not bury it. Like, I'm playing Uncharted 4, haven't finished it, but it's like the whole way through you sit there and think, man, really, did these guys keep all this money and just hide it?
Yeah,
like, come on. They retired.
Also, one of my other favourite facts is that why pirates would wear eye patches. They would actually wear eye patches to keep one eye adjusted for night vision when they'd go below deck.
Which, you told me that earlier, and I was just like, oh my god, that's so smart to try and do that. Like, I didn't even know that. I thought it was just, an accessory.
And that there were, I'm just going to give you one more, otherwise I could go here all day. There's also quite a few female pirates, including Mary Read, Anne Bonny, Grace O'Malley, and Ching Shi, who, when it came to gender equality, pirates were way ahead of the game.
Yeah, I read up on a few. I actually listened to a few podcasts on them, like stuff you missed in history class. Did a few on each of those women actually. So they're really good to worth like listening to if you are really into pirates. Definitely listen to it.
Yeah. I just thought why not have a few?
No, they're good facts.
Really
I like them. I learnt a few things. I didn't, especially the grog.
Yeah,
like every time I hear that word now, I'm going to think, are you going to have the exact mixture
of rum, water, lemon juice, and sugar?
There you go. That actually kind of sounds
delicious. But can we change the rum for something else because I don't like rum? And then can we also change the water and the lemon juice to the sugar for something else?
Yeah, just give me a straight up like other drink.
Yeah,
and we'll call that grog.
All right. So Ange, scare me. Come on, give me some Penny Dreadfuls.
Okay, well, I'm doing today's app on Madame La Laurie. So she is a French woman. She was born back in 1787. She did die in 1849, so we're in about that era. Just quickly, she had a cameo on American Horror Story Season 3, The Coven, and she was played so perfectly by Kathy Bates. Like, if you loved Kathy Bates in Misery, then you're going to love her as Madame La Laurie in American Horror Story. Even if you don't want to watch American Horror Story, please go on YouTube and just watch her parts. She was amazing as that. That's one reason why I would recommend that you go and watch that. So let's just go back through it. So her name is Marie Delphine McCarthy. She became more commonly known as Madame Blanc until her third marriage, when she became known as Madame La Laurie. She was a New Orleans Creole socialite and murderer, noted for torturing and murdering slaves in her household.
Whoa.
Yes. So the mansion where she lived is actually a landmark in the French Quarter, in part because of its history and its architectural significance. It's actually located, if anyone's going to go to New Orleans, it's located at 1140 Royal Street. It is still there. I got a really fun fact on her mansion later for you, just for you, Steph. You're going to love it. My partner's going to love it too. The La Lauries maintained several black slaves in slave quarters attached to the Royal Street mansion. So they had a massive, massive house. There were already accounts of Delphine La Laurie's treatment on her slaves between about 1831 and 1834. There was a woman by the name of Harriet Martineau. Back in 1838, she started writing about the accounts and that, she claimed the La Laurie slaves, they were observed to be singularly haggard and wretched. However, in public, the La Lauries were, as a public status, they were so polite to black people, and they were very so it was really contradicting, because you'd see them in a public face that they were so polite to all the slaves and everything, but yet you hear the stories of what was happening in her mansion.
Well, nobody really knows what happens behind closed doors.
Exactly. So the cruelties were noted quite a lot, and all the accounts got to a point that a local lawyer had to go and check it out and see that everything was okay in the mansion. He came back and said there was nothing. And then one of the neighbors saw one of the La Laurie slaves, a 12-year-old girl by the name of Leah, fall to her death from the roof of the Royal Street mansion.
Wow.
I mean, that's horrible enough to watch someone do that. But she was trying to avoid punishment from a whip-wielding Madame Lalaurie. So the story was Leah had been brushing her hair and it got caught on a snag, which that's inevitable. It's your hair. You're going to sleep and it's going to get knotty. And this caused Madame Lalaurie to be quite angry and pissed off, and she grabbed the whip and she started chasing her. So to avoid being hit by a whip, she jumped off the building. That's pretty sad.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. The body was buried on the mansion grounds. Later, they actually found a lot of bodies and children bodies in her grounds
Really?
that had been buried there. So, like, it was...
Wasn't it first?
No. So, and then this actually this incident actually caused an investigation in which they were found guilty of illegal cruelty and forced to forfeit 9 slaves. However, the slaves were actually brought back by a relative and they were returned. So those poor slaves thought they escaped and then they got brought back into this house.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and then there's this one story which leads into the incident that we're going to go over. It was recounted that Laurie's cook was chained to the kitchen stove. And she was an 80-year-old woman. So she was chained by her ankle to the stove, and Laurie would beat her daughters if they attempted to feed the cook or any of the slaves. So
that's terrible.
It's pretty disgusting. So this is where the big incident happens that everyone finally finds out. So in 1834, April 10th, a fire broke out in the Lalaurie mansion. And when the police and the fire marshals got there, they actually found the cook of, I was incorrect earlier, she wasn't 80, she was a 70-year-old woman. They found her, and yes, the accounts are correct, she was chained by her ankle to the stove. She actually said she'd set the fire as a suicide attempt to avoid being punished because she was that feared. She said, this is what makes the mansion really fascinating. She said slaves would be taken to the uppermost room. So, like, I guess... like we would call it a loft or an attic, but that area seemed to be the torture room, and she said slaves never came back down. So that room became a fear, like, for them. You hear of stories, and even in American Horror Story, they really painted that as a really bad torture room. It's they did that pretty good. Upon being refused the keys by the Lalauries, a bystander actually broke down the doors to the slaves' quarters and found 7 slaves more or less horribly mutilated. They were suspended by their necks. Their limbs were, like, stretched and torn from one extremity to another. Like, they were still alive, and they had, they claimed that they had been there for months.
Oh my goodness.
So they were quite happy to let them burn. They didn't want to give the keys, so someone had to break the door down to free them.
Wow.
Yep. The slaves were very emaciated. They showed signs of being flayed with the whips. They were bound in restrictive postures. They wore spiked iron collars, which kept their heads in static positions. So it was very horrible abuse that this woman did. Yeah, and when it was known of the torture room of the Lalauries, actually a mob took law into their own hands, and they pretty much smashed and demolished everything. They account it as there was nothing left but walls of the mansion. Like, they broke everything. While that mob actually was doing that, the Lalauries, they escaped. They fled. So, and then it was later found that, Madame Lalaurie, she died in 49. So I think she was only 69, but pretty disgusting stuff. The slaves, they were taken, this is even more disgusting, I think. They were taken to the local jail. They were available for public viewing. Yeah, so the New Orleans Bee, they reported that by April 12th, so this is about 2 days after, up to 4,000 people had attended to view the slaves, quotation marks, to convince themselves of the sufferings.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Horrible, horrible thing that she did.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, and like her torture room and everything. Just disgusting. Luckily she, didn't live for much longer after that.
No, thank goodness.
But my fun fact...
Yes.
In April 2007, Nicolas Cage had actually bought the Lalaurie house for $3.45 million. Now, when he did do it, the real estates did it in a way that his name wasn't on it, and then I think he sold it by 2009. So he had partially owned Madame Lalaurie's house.
Wow.
So, I mean, I've just covered it really, really quickly. She's definitely an interesting character to read. I wouldn't say, anything more than interesting. She's a nasty, nasty woman, but...
Again, a bit of homework.
Yeah, go and have a read. I highly recommend, if you want to visually sort of see a little bit of it, go and look at American Horror Story Coven. They really did they really painted the picture, we just read it as there was a torture room right at the top of the house and no one came back, and you just read it as how they were found, but they paint a picture, and it's horrible to watch, but they really do, even towards her daughters. In that they show how nasty she is towards her daughters for wanting to help the slaves and feed the slaves, and she's just as nasty to them behind closed doors. So in American Horror Story, there was a section there where one of her daughters had done something, and what she did is she dragged her daughter up to the torture room, and I think she locked her in this square crate cage thing. I think that's what it was. I haven't watched it since it came out, so I do apologize. But yeah, so she even did that to her daughter. Pretty intense stuff.
That's really intense.
But yeah,
but fascinating. You're right.
It's a good figure to go and have a read up on. She definitely was not a fictional character from American Horror Story. She was a real character in real life.
It's crazy to think that people like that really live. It's not made up.
Yeah.
That people actually did that.
It's disgusting.
Absolutely.
All right, so we actually have some listener mail this month. I'm really excited.
Yeah, same, and especially because this is fun facts. So Al emailed in again.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Al. He seems to be quite a super fan.
Yeah, especially with anime facts.
So I'll get straight into it. Spirited Away is the only anime to win an Academy Award.
Which is freaking awesome. It's a good movie.
# I've never seen it.
# watch it.
# okay. We'll move on to the next one. 50 new colours were created for Akira.
That's pretty cool. That was a good anime. You haven't seen it. # hasn't seen it.
No. Please don't hate me.
These facts are wasted on you.
They are. Studio Ghibli is named after a World War II era aircraft.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so excited to go to the Studio Ghibli Museum in December.
I guess it doesn't really mean anything to me.
Well, I'm going to make it mean something to you because we're going to binge them.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to watch one tonight.
Yes, do it.
Okay,
We love your facts, Al. Thanks.
Thanks, Al. And
we got more.
We got more.
We did.
Yes.
For someone, her name is Sophie, not someone. She sent us in an email saying that she really liked our last episode on the New Zealand and Australia theme. Mm-hmm. And I asked about if anyone knew of any good penny dreadfuls from New Zealand, and she sent us one on the King Seat Psychiatric Hospital in Auckland.
Ooh, I love your penny dreadfuls.
I know, I love asylum stories. They're my favorite. Even horror movies are the best horror movies. But it opened in 1932 and was shut down in 1999. It had the site itself incorporated a morgue. It had a maximum security area as well, so it makes it even scarier. Since it had closed, there were several deaths that had happened in there. You had a lot of suicides that had happened in there. And then obviously, people think it's a very, very haunted area. There's been unofficial or confirmed, I should say, over 100 ghost sightings have taken place there. And she sent us some really cool images that can show, if you search it, it'll show scratch marks on the walls, bars on windows.
Maybe we should add that to the Facebook
stains
page.
On the floor. Yeah, we'll definitely
have
to do that, obviously after we air this episode. But I think I read somewhere when I looked into it that the most famous ghost is the Grey Nurse.
I really want to know more.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that and we'll fill you in. But thanks for that one, Sophie.
Thanks, Sophie.
We'll be able to look into that a bit more. But for that's it for us this time, and until next month.
Yeah, so follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We're on iTunes, SoundCloud, and now Spotify.
Yep, just one app so far though.
So if you want to like us and give us a review, that'll help other people find our show.
Yeah, and just shows a bit of support too. All right, guys, we'll see you next month for the special Halloween one.
Ooh.
Bye, guys.